I am Kristy Hardage. I have been a licensed agent in the Coweta County, Fayette County area for close to 8 years now. I have done regular, what I call outside real estate buyers and sellers, and then in the past 2 years I moved over to new construction townhomes, and that's really where I kind of really dove in a little bit deeper with my rent source, with helping my investors make sure that they're making the right decisions with hiring a rental company. Personally, I have had exceptional experience with communication, with follow-up, with getting to the right people when both myself or my clients have needed it. For example, the most recent situation is I have a potential seller that wants to sell. They're being transferred for the military, but they're going to be back in 2 years. Obviously, I could easily put a sign in their yard, but I feel like it's beneficial for my clients to move them over to my rent source for a 2-year rental. So I did. I reached out to Jennifer, and she jumped right on it, communicated back with me that she had reached out to them. That way I always know that my clients are always taken care of. And then when they come back from being in Germany and eventually they may want to sell, I know they're going to look back to me. Weekends tend to be a little bit tricky sometimes just because, we're all so busy and trying to get a hold of, the right people for that. But for the most part, I've not had any problems. Again, I can always reach out to a My Rent Source team member and ask for the code, explain to them what the situation is with the client. They're, either looking or trying to figure out, what's going to be the right fit for their family. And they've always given me the code, and I've always been able to show the properties. I actually personally have never filled out an application with My Rent Source, but I can say from experience with talking to my clients that they've not had any problem. And sometimes if that property didn't work well for them, they've been able to communicate through the online process to be able to secure another property. So with my new construction, I will have investors come in and they'll want to purchase. A lot of times they're first-time investors, mom and pops. So I sign them up, I sell them their property, and then I give them the contact information, which is always Jennifer at My Rent Source. And she keeps, she just always keeps me informed with what's going on. Sometimes I will speak with Steve or other staff members within My Rent Source, and it's always the same consistent message. But once I turn my people over to My Rent Source, I know they're going to be taken care of. They're going to follow up, they're going to communicate. We're going to make sure we get a renter in there in a timely manner. And so it's been a real good win-win for us. Most positive experience with working with My Rent Source, even though I don't wear the My Rent Source logo or tag, I do feel like I am part of their organization because of their communication and their availability to both me and to my clients. So with the referral program through My Rent Source, obviously they do incentivize agents to trust them and to lead our clients to them. So there is a referral fee that agents do get. And again, having the confidence, knowing that My Rent Source is going to take care of your people. They've never tried to take a client. They've never tried to do anything that was misleading or dishonest. Everything has always been very upfront. A lot of times I'm copied on things too, so I kind of know what's going on with my clients once I have turned them over to them, but it has been a really good working relationship. So whenever I do have a client and maybe they're just not ready to sell yet, maybe they're just like, oh, we've got a really low mortgage payment and a fantastic, interest rate, but we're maybe gonna go down to Florida and try living in Florida. So they'll call me and be like, what are my options? And so obviously, yes, A would be, let's sell your house, but if that's not what they wanna do, then B and top is, go to My Rent Source and get your property listed. A lot of times they're hesitant to reach out to My Rent Source or just anybody in general. They don't wanna be sold. So I will contact My Rent Source and say, hey, I've got property 123 Main Street. Can you kind of run me some loose numbers to see if they were to choose to go the rental route, what they would be bringing in to make sure that first and foremost, they're covering their mortgage. And then what is it gonna look like, property management fees, what's gonna happen when they move to Florida and something happens to their home, water heater bust, things of that nature. So then I always reach out to My Rent Source, and then they kind of give me some information. I take it back once my clients feel very comfortable and confident in that information, which has always been, that's the case, then I put them in touch with each other.